Colleagues, at 2 o'clock this morning, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change published a report on the progress, or lack of it, on this agenda. It drew on 6,000 pieces of research from scientists all around the world, and its conclusions probably can only be described as apocalyptic. The progress that we have made in Scotland as one of the leaders in the climate change agenda are very substantial indeed. And the present Minister, Rosanna Cunningham, is this afternoon away to Environment Council in Europe to continue to represent Scotland and to pursue the case for climate action. It was my immense privilege in 2009 to take through the world-leading legislation that was the 2009 Climate Change Act. And we have not just passed legislation, we have done the job that we promised. We have taken nearly 50% of our emissions out of our activity. That is a very substantial achievement indeed. But Scotland is 1/700th of the total emissions of the world. It is not enough that we do everything we can. We must persuade others to do what they can as well. Today, we've seen Mary Robinson, the former President of the Republic of Ireland, tweeting about the urgency of this issue, the effect that climate change will have on the poorest and least able to respond around the world, the Delta in Bangladesh, the people in the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, whose lives, whose houses, whose agricultures will be inundated by rising oceans. 1 year in 10, all the ice in Antarctica will have gone, and all the ecosystems that depend upon that. This is one of the most serious threats that faces the world in our lifetime, and more critically, in the lifetime of generations to follow. Now, we're setting targets with a new bill in the Scottish Parliament that Rosanna Cunningham is taking forward that will see us carbon neutral by 2050. That is something that sets an example to the world of what can be done. We may, in longer term, have to be doing even more. I welcome that objective. I will be 104 years old in 2050. I expect to be here and hold everyone to account. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's not enough that governments do all that governments can do. We as individuals have to also do our bit. We have to persuade others in our communities. We have to, when the opportunity exists, persuade other governments. Are you listening, President Trump? And what can we do? My being the Climate Change Minister fundamentally changed my life, I have to say to you. When I first got elected, I drove 40,000 miles a year. Today, I drive 7,000 miles a year. I can do it in my busy life. You can do it in yours. I've looked at my watch, and it tells me I walked 29 miles in the last 7 days. Many of those miles previously I would have done in a car. We can all do that. And by the way, I'm a damn sight fitter having done it as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me no pleasure whatsoever to have to move this motion, but move it I must.